My name is Ashley. I'm going to be taking you through the Introduction to Court Reserve webinar today. Thank you so much for joining us. We are excited to show you everything possible that Court Reserve can do for your organization. So let me give you a little bit of background about Court Reserve. We just celebrated 4 years in 2020, and we are located right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So if you've ever flown through the Charlotte airport, next time you'll have to come on by. We're just about 15 minutes south of there. Started off mainly as a tennis, to help tennis clubs and organizations, but soon came to help pickleball. And now we have really every single sport. So we have badminton clubs, ping pong clubs, racquetball clubs. We have music studios. We have sailboat and yacht clubs who use us to reserve their sailboats. We have public facilities, private, homeowners associations, swim clubs, pool clubs, as well as, just about any kind of racket sport, which I've already gone over. You can imagine we can help. We also help a bunch of clubs that have a lot of different amenities. So your gym, your fitness, bocce, they reserve their Peloton bikes. They do lessons with their pros. So really, I say all of that to let you know that today, I'm going to give you an overview of just about everything you can possibly think of. Now, your organization may not use a lot of what we are going to show you today. So that's what's great about Court Reserve, is it's so customizable to your organization. So we are heavily focused in the United States and in Canada, but we definitely have a presence in Europe, Asia, all over the world now. Okay, let's talk about the mobile app. So Court Reserve is a cloud-based app that you as an admin or staff would set up on your desktop or your laptop, but it also comes with an app, and over 80% of your players will actually use the app. No matter what kind of facility you are, that is the data that we have. So once they download the Court Reserve app on either their iPhone or their Android platform, it's all about your organization. So on the picture on the left, you'll see the organizational logo. Then it's all about what you want to tell them and what you want them to be able to do. So the announcements tab, you'll see the red dot. Well, that indicates to your member that they have a new announcement from your organization. So anything like new summer camp or a new coach, or hey, we're going to hang out by the pool this weekend. Red dot, that means they need to read because you're trying to give them a message. Now, the next three tabs, reservations, events, and calendar, well, those are all based on the permissions that you give them. So if you have courts to reserve, or you want to let them sign up for classes or clinics, great things at your organization, anything you do in setup is going to allow them to do those certain things. Now, about halfway down, you'll see the tab called Member Directory. Well, this is a customizable feature in Court Reserve. You will probably hear me say customize about 20 more times today. Again, this is something where you can use it or not. You can publish an entire member directory, which might be an email list or a phone list, or you might actually do it by rating. So again, the rating allows you to really pick and choose and customize this. So let's say you have a Ladies 3-5 pickleball club. Well, you can publish a Ladies 3-5 member directory just to that group of Ladies 3-5. So a lot of customization around the member directory. We have a lot of clubs that choose to use this and make it very effective way for player matchmaking, especially for those new players at your club. Now, I do want to announce that this year in 2021, Court Reserve is coming out with additional features such as Book a Pro, tournaments, round robins, ladders, and leagues. So those will all be worked on already now and then going on throughout the summer. We will release one of those at a time. So stay tuned for news on those extra modules. Okay, so back to our left side screenshot, my reservations, my events, and my account. Well, those are all things that your player has already reserved, signed up for, or I'll show you my account in just a moment. Okay, players. Those human beings that are going to be at your club playing and doing all those great things. Well, we make it really easy if you have a space or a court for them to book. So they would simply just use their mobile device to toggle through the days, find the court and the time, and book on through. Now, we also allow ball machines or other resources for your players to actually be able to reserve as well. We actually have a pickleball club out in Oregon that their resource is actually shoes. If you don't wear the right shoes to their courts, they actually let you borrow their shoes in order to play on their courts. So that's a pretty cool way to use resources. Okay, on the mobile device, you can see here, this is an approved court reservation. Now, again, all of this is based on your setup of your organization, whether you actually allow guests at your organization or you're going to assign them to a court, or if you charge court fees. So some of our homeowners associations and even our country clubs, their members just pay for a membership and everything is included. But a lot of our organizations also charge for courts. It's a great way to drive revenue. So again, I'm just showing you everything that's possible in CourtReserve. The reason for this screenshot is really to show you the flexibility of your players being able to schedule, pay for things on their phone, edit, and even cancel reservations all from their mobile device. Now, this screenshot on the left is events. Events in CourtReserve are all of those great classes, clinics, camps, bus rides, anything you want a number of people to sign up for. They can actually toggle through which event they'd like to see, and then they can sign up, they can update, withdraw, or even put themselves on a wait list. Now, remember a second ago, I mentioned my account. Again, these are all based on your setup and what you're going to do. So if you are not going to work with CourtReserve and allow your players to make payments through the CourtReserve app with our integrated credit card merchant providers, then your players will not see any of this transactional information. But just to note, I'll tell you more about our payment integration in a few moments, but we do work with 2 great credit card merchant providers that allow it to be very easy for your players to pay for things at your organization on their mobile phone. Again, based on what you have allowed, their My Account setting would allow them to go in, add credit cards to their profile, change their rating, maybe even add a family member based on what you want them to do in CourtReserve. Now, about 6 weeks ago, we actually introduced this new feature called Player Self Check-in. If you are an unmanned front desk or you are a staffless facility, this is a great way for your players to use the mobile device. They simply bring up their barcode, and then when it's time for them, they just scan in, which allows you to record who attended lessons, camps, clinics, classes, and even court reservations as well. A lot of our big public facilities use this, and they just buy the scanner right off of Amazon. I believe it's about $50. It's a simple way to add this into CourtReserve, and you are good to go. All right. About a month ago, we also came out with this Wi-Fi remote lock integration. It is one of the many integrations CourtReserve is going to come out with this year. So the way that this would work is you would purchase your lock from Remote Lock, and then you would go into CourtReserve and set up your lock. So again, we have a pickleball facility out in Salt Lake City. They're a 24-hour pickleball club. So they have a lock on their door. When you as a player make a reservation, you get a unique 4-digit PIN code. A little bit before your reservation starts, you walk up, put your 4-digit PIN code in, the door opens, and people are playing pickleball at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a fabulous idea. So again, this is just another integration that's an additional model in CourtReserve if you choose to use this, and it allows us to work with a lot of customers that need this Wi-Fi integration for remote lock access. Okay, let's talk about your coaches, your instructors, those people who keep us going day after day. Well, we love them so much, we gave them their own module in CourtReserve. So you'll see here on the left-hand side, if I was the instructor, I would be able to pull out my schedule and glance day after day. I could also see my colleagues or other instructors at my organization. As a staff or admin or even an instructor, you can pull up the player directory where you can hit the phone icon and make a quick phone call to a member or even send an email. Now, this is a screenshot of an event that I, as the instructor, have been assigned to. Again, I show you this because there's a lot of great information on the mobile device. See, what we did was we polled a bunch of our instructors and coaches at a lot of our organizations, and they said the biggest challenge is that they're on the court teaching, 10, 12 hours a day. The last thing they want to do is get off the court, answer text messages, emails, and phone calls about signing up for private lessons and events and court bookings. So we have tried to put as much as possible on their mobile device, so everything is at their fingertips. So again, you can see here the time of this clinic, what the clinic is, how many registrants. We're also going to use a ball machine during this clinic. You can check in players, register players, even edit and cancel this event all on the mobile phone. This is a screenshot of a private lesson in CourtReserve. Again, lots of information for the coach. Now, the way that lessons work now, coaches and instructors still have to set up the lesson, whether it's private, semi-private, group lessons, or what have you. But like I mentioned earlier, we will be coming out with Book a Pro. I believe it's in about a month. And Book a Pro offers the ability for the instructor to place part of their schedule in an online fashion so that players can book directly on that instructor schedule. Now, I do want to point out there's a cost here of $100. If the instructor clicks the pay button, that $100 does not go into the instructor bank account. It actually is being collected on behalf of the organization. So again, this is a great communication tool because now when the member or the player comes to take the lesson, they can pay for it right at the time of the lesson. Organization's paid, instructor's going to get paid, everyone's happy. Okay. Another feature that was really popular last year, and it's one of the best features in CourtReserve, is really the check-in feature. We placed this on the instructor device as well. It makes it great for attendance reporting, and I'm going to share some reporting here in a few moments. But again, the better that you can set up CourtReserve and the better that you can teach your staff, the better your reporting will be on the back end. Okay, I'm going to stop the share. That is not me. I just borrowed this Zoom call. I'm going to jump over here to our desktop welcome portal. Now, your members, this is what they would see. Now, not necessarily this one because I have designed it the way I wanted my club to look. This is completely customizable. So up here in the top left-hand corner, it's all about you and your organization. And then you get to determine what you want to tell your members, your players, the people at your organization. Do you remember the global announcement feature I mentioned on the mobile device? Well, here it is on the desktop as well. So if this was a new announcement that I as a player had not seen, I would have a little red dot here, and I would also have a red dot on my announcements tab. Now, up in the top right-hand corner, you can see many of these tabs, and you probably have guessed these are, of course, customizable to your organization and what you have for setup. So let's take a look. The calendar of events is a great way for your players to see all of the great classes and clinics at your organization. The colors, of course, are customizable by you. Your players can filter through and just see their pickleball cardio clinics, or let's find one that actually has more than one. Cardio tennis clinics. How about, is there a round robin out here? There's a round robin. Again, they can also filter through in a day, week, or month format. Now they can also click on the events tab here and scroll through, again, all of the great events. So from a member standpoint or a player standpoint, let me show you how easy it is to sign up for a class or a clinic. So we're going to click here on the backhand domination. It's a lead coaching and drills class. I see different days and times. I see there is a cost. I see that as a member or a player, I can go ahead and sign up for May 18th or May 20th, but May 25th, registration doesn't open for 45 more minutes. There are 10 places still available here, so let me click register. Now here are my family members. I can go in because I am in a family and actually sign up myself and my daughter. I see there's a cost for this class. Once I click save, my registration's been confirmed. As a player, I also just got a confirmation email out of the CourtReserve system with the information about this particular class. I can also, as a player, come back and update or withdraw. Now, we also have a great waitlist feature on events. Waitlist works two different ways in CourtReserve on events. The first way, everyone on the waitlist would get an email if there's a slot open, and basically it's first come, first serve. The second way is auto register, and that does what you think it sounds like. It takes the first person signed up on the wait list that's appropriate for that slot size and fills it with that first person. It also sends them a confirmation email, allowing them time to know, hey, you've been registered to this class. Now, you as a staff, all you have to do is set that up. The CourtReserve platform does the rest for you. Okay, let's go up to reservations. Now, you may think of reservations as booking or court bookings or booking any kind of space. So we have developed something called custom schedulers. Custom schedulers allow you to go in and direct your players exactly where you want them to be able to schedule, when, and even how. So let's go check out tennis. Let's say you have 4 tennis courts, but only 3 of them are for members. The 4th tennis court is for teaching only. As a member, I can come in and toggle through so many days based on setup. I can also toggle through to the next day. And let's say that I want to play on hard court number 1 on Wednesday at 11 o'clock. I simply click the reserve button at 11 o'clock. Here's my name as the player reserving. I would like to play doubles. Now, again, court assignments, durations, even the split court fees here are all based on organizational setup. So if you don't actually, I got to put the right people in here. If you don't actually need to know every single person on the court reservation, then you don't need to worry about this. But again, we can help it make it easy. We can even help include guests. So guests, we require the first name, last name. And then here we have the member who is making the reservation, Tim Owens, at $16 for his 2 hours of court time, plus his guest fee. And now he owes $26. There's also a waiver and disclosure on here that you can click and view more. That has been a very popular feature this year. Everybody's signing off on disclosures about health and things of that necessary. Now watch this. Here's my court booking. If I don't sign off on this waiver disclosure, it will not let me finish this reservation. So by checking this box, I'm agreeing to the above disclosure. I click save. Now, as a member or a player, I have 15 minutes to log in and pay my $26 court fee, which includes the guest fee, so that I can keep this reservation. Again, this is completely customizable, but super easy for your players. If you have ball machines, like we mentioned on the app, they reserve those just the same way. Now, on the mobile app, I showed you the member directory. Well, here it is on the desktop side as well. So again, you can publish a member directory with emails and phones. And then let's say you want to get together a group of 3-5 players. Well, you can also have a filter option here as well. Now, let's go over and take a look at my profile. My profile is where a lot of great information lives for your players. So when we started putting together how CourtReserve was going to work about 5 years ago, you know, the way that we have developed it in the last 4 years has really been like organizations like yourself who have come to us and said, you know, CourtReserve's great, but what if it could do this? Or what if it could do that? What if my players could come in at any moment on their side of CourtReserve and see all of their upcoming, past, and canceled court reservations? I also want my members to be able to see all of the upcoming classes and clinics that their wife and their kids have signed up for. I want my members to be able to click on transactions and come in and see any updated current balances, anything that they've paid for. We also had a great idea several years ago to work around invoices, or it's a feature we call batch billing. Batch billing allows your members to come in and charge a house account. Then once a month, you come in as an organization and you send them an invoice. This invoice also charges their card on file or their e-check bank draft on file, and they don't have to worry about mailing in a check or paying you cash. And now the member can also log in and see that their wife has had 30 private lessons at the tune of $3,000. So see, we think we offer just a lot of clarity and communication between clubs and players. And again, we're trying to reduce the amount of phone calls and emails you get. So this is just a great example of how CourtReserve has so many different customizable features, and what works best for your organization, you get to choose to use. Okay. You see the blue admin button here? Well, if you're an admin or staff in CourtReserve, you have the ability to switch back and forth between the member side and the admin side. So members, of course, would not have a blue admin button. So where we are now is the expanded scheduler of CourtReserve. Now there is a lot going on, so let's break this down. You can see our spaces or courts are labeled here at the top. clay courts, pickleball, bocce, racquetball, but we also have more courts than can be shown on the screen. So we have a toggle bar at the bottom. We have courts as little as 1 court for some facilities, all the way up to 98 courts. So you can imagine their toggle bar is expansive. Okay, now we can go up and we can filter as a staff. So we can just look at certain courts or certain instructors. We can look at closures. We have a drag and drop feature. So we can drag this racquetball up and down. We can also extend the time if necessary. All of the colors are customizable, just, whether some clubs they color code their courts or their reservation types or their instructors, it really is up to you. So let me show you a couple cool features. We do something called combo courts. Combo courts here is where a hard line tennis court has pickleball lines, or these 2 pickleball courts lined on the tennis court. And we can also keep up with the reservations. So let's just take a look and make a pickleball doubles reservation for 2 hours on court number 1. You'll see court 1 here, and then we've also blocked off that tennis court. Can't play tennis and pickleball at the same time. Okay, but we still have pickleball court number 2 open. So let's do singles, and let's just do it for an hour because I want you to see hour and a half. Here we go. So we have 2 individual reservations for 2 different pickleball courts, but it also shows up on that tennis court. Now, not only tennis and pickleball, but we also have pickleball cornhole. We've had basketball volleyball. We've had badminton basketball. We've had ping pong basketball. So you can just imagine all of the great facilities that can use their courts at multiple capacities with different types of sports. So let's go over and actually take a look at an event. Now remember, events in CourtReserve are classes, clinics, and camps. So if we take a look here from a bird's eye view, we see a lot of things. It's a junior clinic. The name of it is Spring Red Ball Beginners. The time, we have 13 registrants, and then we actually have a note on the account, bring extra balls. The $sign and the red line indicate that players need to pay. The initials are the initials of the instructor assigned to teach this class or clinic, and the triangle means that there are registrants to check in. So let's check it out. By the click of a button, you can see a lot of additional information. Registrants, email information, payment information, whether they've paid or not. We can email or print a receipt. We can also do the check-in, just like we showed you on the mobile device. There's a reschedule function, as well as you can delete a registration or cancel a member's registration here. We can also easily register a new player just at the click of a button. So we come in, we find Andy's name, we click register and save. And now Andy Murray is in our new Tennis Spring Red Ball Beginners Clinic. Again, a lot of great information at the click of a button. I want to go back over and show you another cool feature called the audit log. See, we think it's really important for you to have a great tool to teach and train your staff. So the audit log actually registers everything that happens on events, memberships, reservations. And so you as a staff can come back in and say, okay, I can see that an event registration was created by Tim Owens, the admin, on this date and time for this class and what actually happened. This is almost like a lie detector on paper. I love it. A lot of times in our live chat support, we will get an SOS message that somebody deleted courts, but it wasn't them, when in fact we can come back and actually show that it was them. We try and keep it light and airy though. Okay, let's go up here and take a look at the instructor schedule. Now I mentioned this on the mobile, but again, we got to get Tim Owens some more stuff going on in his schedule. So at a week at a glance, I can come in as an instructor and take a look at my schedule. I can also look at my colleagues and see what's going on. So let's go back to today. And so we've got our different instructors here, and another reason that we have this is, we have a lot of clubs that their instructors, again, they're on the court, but you've got members walking in. Member wants to take a lesson. So you can come in from a front desk standpoint, go ahead and set your member up. It's going to send an email to the instructor, an email to the player. You can set up recurring lessons. We've got a charge here. So maybe we need to go in and we need to modify it and give this kid a break or actually add a charge to his account. We can come in and go ahead and assign it to a court. Now you can see here, if a court has already been taken or it's busy, it'll say conflicted. So you don't double book courts. So once we do this, I'm going to actually take this off. I don't want to send any fake emails out. And we click save. The member's happy, right? Because now they have a private lesson. Instructor's happy because they're teaching and nobody bothered them, but he will know that he has a new lesson. Everybody's happy. Again, sometimes it's the little things about a platform that make the hugest difference when you're looking. Okay, let me show you a different view of the scheduler. This is called the consolidated. Well, that was the ball machine scheduler. And this is called the consolidated scheduler. At a bird's eye view, it's a great way to look quickly and see, okay, at 6 o'clock, I have 2 pickleball courts available, and go right to the scheduler. Again, small things make the biggest difference sometimes. All right, let's take a look at closures. Now in North Carolina, we don't really get snow, we get ice, but we do get rain. So let's go ahead and close our courts down for a few days for weather. We know that it's going to rain till Saturday. We'll open the courts at 9 o'clock. I want you to pay attention to the affected reservation number and the affected registrant number. Once I start clicking on courts, well, these are the human beings that will be affected when you actually close the court. It means they have an event that they've registered for, or a court booking they registered for. It could even mean they've paid for something. So you can come in here onesie twosie all day long, reschedule, cancel, or you can let the system do it for you. By choosing B, C, or D, it's going to cancel the reservation and event. It's going to email your player letting them know the court's closed and their registration has been canceled. If they've already paid for it, it will issue a pending refund that you can go process later. And now you can go home and cook dinner. No more sending out text messages, emails, and phone calls alerting your players that things have been closed for rain. It's a quick and easy 3-step process, and we've made it pretty great on CourtReserve. Okay, let's go over and take a look at events. Now, I know I mentioned events on the mobile and the member side, but I'd really like to show you the setup. Let's see, let's do this junior red ball. Oh, let's get one with registrants. Cardio live ball. Now you see here that this is our event. We have the next upcoming date is Wednesday, May 19th. Here's our registrants. Again, lots of that great information that we saw on the scheduler. You can even email your registrants, and you can also assign them. So if you are a club that has open play around robin and you want to come in before the event starts and assign players to show up on specific courts, you can use the assign button, and that way they can actually look on their mobile phone, and when they get to the club, they can go to the appropriate court. Let's click on general info. I want to show you how powerful the setup is. We have a lot of instructors and pros that just use the CourtReserve event model just for their programming. Okay, you can name it anything you want. You get to create your own categories. You can even do sessions. Sessions are, for example, how did my winter session do over my summer session? Events, start date, times. We can do reoccurrences. So is this event every Monday? Is it every month? Is it custom, which means that it's on Monday of this week, Wednesday of the next week, and Friday of the following week? We can do up to 99 event dates. So for most things, that's for an entire year. Your players can register for every single date they want to come to, or we also have register for all dates. A lot of our junior academies want their students to sign up for all 10 weeks of the class, so they would choose register for all dates. We've already talked about waitlist. And then again, anytime you go in to assign an instructor, a court, or a ball machine to your event, if they are unavailable and already scheduled, it will say unavailable. Now, as we scroll on down under event setup, you will see several different memberships. Membership in CourtReserve just means it's groups of people who get to do the same permissions, restrictions, and payment. So if you are a HOA or a club that doesn't charge for any of your classes or events, you might would just have one membership. But we also have a lot of organizations that have family memberships. So if you're a family membership here, your drop-in price is $15, but the club membership drop-in price is $25. You may allow certain memberships to register online. Some may have to require payment up front. You may also require approval on some of your memberships. Maybe these are your guests that are coming to sign up for classes or clinics. We have different drop-in registration and start and end dates, as well as additional setup here. You can put those disclosures and waivers on your camps and events. You can also attach this to revenue categories. So a lot of our organizations use CourtReserve for all their financial reporting, and we'll talk more about that in a few moments. Now let's talk about registration restrictions. So you can actually come in and restrict an event for gender, age, because you don't necessarily want a 14-year-old in your kid's red ball clinic. You can also come in and restrict it by rating. So maybe you just want to have, a lesson or an event with your 4.0 and 4.5s. But we also have a restriction now called member groups. So we have this pickleball club that works with us out in North Carolina. And they said, CourtReserve's great. We have this high elite group of players. They're 4.0 and 4.5s. But there's that 1.30 guy. He always comes and signs up, and he does not belong. And you're laughing because you have one of these at your club. Every club has one. So we said, okay, you can come into CourtReserve. You can choose to make up member groups. You can put people in those member groups. Then you can restrict an event, a class, a clinic to one of those groups. Now, Mr. 3.0, if he's not in this group, he can't sign up for this event. And if you go a step further and check this box right here, hide event if member does not match restriction, now Mr. 3.0 doesn't even know this exists. So see, we are actually creating like peacefulness here because Mr. 3.0 doesn't know what he's missing. All right, let's keep going. So we mentioned briefly about memberships, but again, we have individual memberships, family memberships. I actually encourage all clubs to do family memberships, period. Even individuals can be a family membership. Family membership in CourtReserve just means that families can sign up together, and we're happy to help talk to you more about this. But with memberships, we actually can do prerequisites. We actually can help you charge monthly, quarterly, yearly, or one time. We can do initiation fees as well as help you collect state tax for your memberships. Okay, transactions and payments. So like I mentioned earlier, CourtReserve does work with and is integrated with two different merchant providers. One does credit cards, one does credit card and e-check or bank draft. That second option is awesome. Well, we have a rep that really works with a lot of our clubs, and they really have been a great partner for so many of our clubs. If you are concerned about credit card fees, I would definitely think about option 2, because if you will process bank draft or ACH, the fees are extremely lower. Okay. Due to all of our current great organizations and their accountants, they have helped us create all of the great reporting in CourtReserve. So now you can come in and run a transaction report. You can see all of your unpaid transactions. You can actually come in and see only your paid ones, who paid for their clinics this week. You can come in and check out refunds and any process refunds that you need to process. You can come in and take a look at our payment summary report and see, okay, last week, where did the money come in from? We have a great new aged fees report. We have a daily revenue report, just a lot of great reporting. Like I said earlier, we've got that batch billing feature. We can help you post fees. So a lot of our junior academies, they'll post certain fees to accounts each month, and then sales tax as well. As far as other reports in the system, we have reservation reports, of course, that you can pull and see, who was on the court at what time. We have an expansive member report, which means you can come in and filter through and say, okay, who owes me a balance, or what memberships are up and coming? Who has not been or logged in and done anything at the club in the last month? Who has a next payment date? Who has a reservation date? Just a lot of great information. We have an instructor time report. We have a guest report, a check-in report, of course, but probably my favorite report is the court utilization report. Let's just look at last week. This is actually a heat map of how busy your courts are. So you can see here on Sunday and Monday, we should probably get busy because we probably need to add some stuff to our courts. But on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, you can see we're about half full. And then Fridays and Saturdays, we could probably add programming as well. I mean, if you think about it, if you are not the owner of your organization, then you are reporting to a boss, an owner, a board of directors, even if it's just the IRS for your taxes. Somebody wants to know the financial health of your organization. If you use CourtReserve, we have all of your data. You just need to tell us what it looks like when you need it to spit out something, right? The reports are one of the best things about CourtReserve. It's a lot of great analytical data. And in fact, Our team is already working on an improved analytical project right now that will be out this summer that's going to even dive even deeper into reporting. Okay, let's check out the point of sale. Now, the point of sale, you may have guessed it, a couple of our clubs a couple years ago said, hey, we are paying over $100 a month for a third-party point of sale. Can you please build us one? So we said, okay. Now you can come in and you can sell your Gatorades and your cans of balls, and you can have your members charged to a house account, or you can come in here and process as cash. You can use a credit card machine, whatever you need. You can also print receipts. There's great inventory management reporting on the backside. Again, the point of sale is an add-on module in CourtReserve. It's $25 a month, which means that if you don't need point of sale, then you don't pay for it, and then you don't have to worry about it. All right, I know you have some questions, but I really do want to show you a couple more things that I think set us apart. So system users in CourtReserve are all of those admins, sub-admins, and instructors, and what they get to do is based on the permissions that you give them. So maybe your front desk can close courts, set up reservations, and edit events, but you don't want them to do anything with payments or memberships. Again, as we come on down, we talked about courts and ball machines, but your instructors will love our instructor module. See here, we have private lessons, semi-privates. Then you can come in and actually set up custom instructor pricing. See, we work with a lot of organizations that have 20, 30, 40 instructors. Well, that is years of education and experience, and we believe they should be paid accordingly. So now you can come in and set all of this pricing up by membership, by instructor. Okay, let's talk about emails. CourtReserve, of course, has all of the automated emails that go out every time your player signs up for a court booking or an event or makes a payment. But we also have where you can send out emails from the CourtReserve system. This allows you to get rid of your third-party MailChimp or Bad Mimi because it's already integrated into the CourtReserve system. Okay, booking settings, permissions. How many days in advance do you want your players to book a court? How many courts can they book per day? How many guests can they bring to your organization? How many hours until they can make an additional booking? We can get as granular as the number of minutes a member can book per day or per week. We have prime time now where you can allow your members only so many prime time slots per week. We can do it by space. So here under the yellow circle, you can actually come in and say, okay, we have a lot more paddle courts than tennis courts, so they get 2 paddle courts and only 1 tennis court per week. You can come in and actually do a number of outstanding reservations, and we have a new feature called Prevent Sandwich Times. If we put 30 minutes in, this means that if I have a reservation from 8 to 9 o'clock, the next reservation time is at 10 o'clock because I can't book at 9:30 because that would create a 30-minute dead time on my courts. And if you want court maximum capability, use the sandwich times. What a great feature. Okay, let's keep going. Let's talk about your players, those human beings at your organization that are going to use CourtReserve. Well, how in the world are you going to get them in the system? Well, we have 2 ways, and you get to choose. The first way is you can reach out to our live chat support team and ask for the import template. It is an Excel CSV file. We tell you the information we need in columns. You fill out the Excel, you email it back over to our support team, and we will import it for you. Or option number 2 is the sign up form located under portal settings. You actually get to come in and fill out what you want your new players to, date of birth, phone number, address. You want them to answer some custom questions, sign off on a waiver of disclosure. Then you can actually come over here under your to-do where you have a red dot, and you can approve or refuse new members into your organization. It really doesn't matter. It's whichever way is best for you. If you have a great list already, sometimes it's easier to import. We're happy to answer questions about that as well. Now, again, I talked to you about billing settings, and we can do all kinds of things around revenue categories. This also here is our new access control setup as well. Now let's talk about widgets. Widgets are tiny bits of code that allow you to embed into websites, and this one is called our lobby view widget. The lobby view widget is embedded into a smart TV browser, and if you have a smart TV in your lobby, then your players can walk into your lobby and see that their pickleball doubles reservation is at 3 o'clock on pickleball number 1. So they can bypass your front desk. They don't have to even see a front desk. This makes it really easy. And this scroll bar over here on the right are the events that you can process to and show if you like. Let me show you a couple of other embeds and widgets. So this is Hurstbourne Country Club out in Louisville, Kentucky. They have put their little CourtReserve link right here. So when I click this button right here, it actually takes me to the Hurstbourne Country Club member portal. Is this not a beautiful place? So they've actually decorated theirs with pictures and some descriptions of what they want their members to be able to do. And so let's take a look at NEA Tennis. Now look, this is their website, neatennis.com/afterschool-tennis-zone. If you scroll down, this is the CourtReserve event widget. So if I was a mom and I wanted to sign my kid up for after school zone, I could just go out to their website. This is the USTA National Campus. I could click on book a court. Oh, let's play tennis today. And we're going to book a court. Again, this is their member portal where they can log in or even create a new account to sign up to play at National Campus. This is our pickleball club up in Michigan, the Wolverine Pickleball. So again, this is the CourtReserve event calendar widget, which if I wanted to come and be in Nancy's group, we just go out to wolverinepickleball.com/schedule, and here we go. I tell you so much of this because I want you to see all of the options that we have for you. A last couple of things. When I say that your ideas really drive the product, I mean it. Over the last 5 years, these are some of the great ideas that we have had from other organizations. And last summer, we allowed all of our clubs and organizations to vote on what was important for them. And then we take this list, and this is how we develop our roadmap. Now, when we develop new things, we always want to teach you about them. So we are constantly pushing out new information every 2 to 3 weeks. This was 1 day ago of all of our latest features and enhancements, because we want you as an organization to be able to understand what changes or new improvements in the system. And then you guys as an admin or a staff, you get to go and decide if you're going to make this new improvement at your organization too. Now, we have a huge knowledge base that lives right here beside the light bulb. The knowledge base is a search engine full of all the great articles and videos in CourtReserve to help you learn how to use CourtReserve. Now, you may be saying, well, Ashley, this is all great, but how do I get started? What's the next step? Well, the next step is really to go out to courtreserve.com. There is a pricing tab up here at the top. So again, you price as you use. So we have flexible pricing. We're happy to talk with you again after this call and kind of go over your particular pricing, because every organization is unique. The most important thing I want you to remember from today is this little guy right here in the bottom right-hand corner. This leads you over. Real life human beings are going to answer you. They're going to help walk you through issues or questions that you might have. And also they're going to help you create your free account. We want you to kick the tires and really play with this system. We put some sample data in the CourtReserve trial account for you to go in there and play around with it and really get to know what CourtReserve is all about. Then we're going to take you through a training process. We're going to help you get some basic information set up with our YouTube videos. Then we're going to schedule some one-on-one training with you as well. So the greatest thing today is for you to know that we hold your hand. We take you step by step. Reach out to our chat support team. We're looking forward to getting to know your organization.